Hello everyone, Vincent Theo from HDTV Test here. I'm here at Abbey Road Studios in London attending the launch event for the Philips OLED+936 on your left and also the Philips OLED+986 on your right. Now, these two TVs fall under the OLED Plus category because they deliver the best picture and sound from both Philips TV in collaboration with Bowers Wilkins, a renowned sound specialist responsible for some of the most iconic speakers on the market. Now, what differentiates the OLED Plus range in 2021 from the step-down 806? Number one is the latest, more efficient OLED panel found on the LG G1, and also some other brands have adopted this panel. Now this panel has found its way onto both the OLED+936 and also the OLED+986. And I need to tell you about the screen sizes that are available on the 936. Those are going to be 48-inch, 55-inch, and 65 inches, whereas on the 986 you only have one screen size of 65 inches. Now, crucially, the more efficient, brighter EVO panel is only found on the 55-inch and 65-inch versions of the Philips OLED+936. The smaller 48-inch 936 won't be getting the EVO panel. It will be getting the same OLED panel as the step-down 806. Now, the advantage of the EVO panel is its increased efficiency, and therefore it can be driven harder to achieve higher peak brightness and also full screen brightness. And just like what LG Display has said at CES earlier this year, Philips TV is quoting an increase in peak brightness and full field brightness of up to 20%. With a higher brightness potential, obviously there will be concerns about burn-in, but as part of the new picture processing engine that is found on Philips 2021 OLED Plus televisions, there is a premium or more advanced anti-burn-in solution currently, and they will be using a more advanced grid detection system. So if you remember from my coverage of the Philips 806 earlier this year, the anti-burn-in solution on the 935 has found its way onto the 806, but that will only detect up to maybe 840 zones in terms of detecting static elements and then dimming them down without actually affecting the rest of the screen. Whereas on the OLED+936 and also the OLED+986, you are now getting 32,400 zones being monitored, and therefore it allows for more precise detection of logos, more precise dimming without affecting the rest of the picture. Now, this premium anti-burn-in solution falls under the new dual chip P5 engine, and the formal name is the 5th gen P5 with AI intelligent dual picture engine. I believe I've got that correct. It's hard to forget when it's such a mouthful. But the way Philips has described this new dual chip P5 engine is that it allows for more advanced AI processing than what the single chip P5 engine on the 806 was capable of. So in terms of specific items that the dual chip P5 is adding, there will be the AI Smart Bit Enhancement 2.0, which serves to reduce polarization in content. There will be the AI Machine Learning Sharpness, which will apply local sharpening depending on what is present on screen. And obviously, there will be improved perfect natural reality SDR to HDR upscaling as well. And besides the picture part of the package, obviously, a big portion is the sound bit. And here we have Bowers Wilkins to provide their sound expertise. So just like on last year's 935, you can see here that the 936 will have a speaker enclosure stand with a tweeter on top design. But there is one small detail of difference. So on last year's 935, the quadrat acoustically transparent fabric is on the front of the speaker enclosure, whereas the micro mesh grills are on the top. Whereas on this year's Philips OLED+936, the situation has reversed. So the acoustically transparent fabric is on the top, whereas the micro mesh grills are on the front. I'm not sure what benefits this brings. Maybe it's just a case of switching positions to spice things up. Now, other elements that share the same features as the step-down 806 would be the HDMI 2.1 capabilities, and there will be 4 HDMI ports on the OLED+936 and also OLED+986, but only 2 of them are HDMI 2.1, and both of them will have the full HDMI 2.1 bandwidth of 48 gigabits per second. There will be support for HDMI Forum VR, there will be support for Freesync Premium, and I believe that Philips is also applying for G-Sync compatible certification. And I think Philips has also worked hard to reduce the latency on these sets, and I hear the figure 11 milliseconds being bandied about. And another thing that was on the 806 that will also make its way on the 936 and also the 986 is the fast motion clarity 120 Hz black frame insertion. This will allow for variable intensity black frame insertion to improve the motion sharpness and motion clarity. And maybe with some motion interpolation, this will reduce motion blur in whatever content that you are actually watching.
This video is sponsored by Box, the online technology store. Visit box.co.uk for the best deals on TVs, soundbars, and all your other technology needs.
In terms of Ambilight, which is one of Philips' proprietary and most famous technologies, there will be the 4-sided version on both the 936 and also the 986. And I'm informed that both sets will also be Kalman ready from launch. Now, after talking about both sets together, I'm going to turn my attention to the 986 on your right, because this is actually designated as Philips flagship product for 2021, and it only comes in one screen size of 65 inches. I don't expect the price to be cheap. It will become available in October, whereas the 936 will be available from September. There is only one screen size of 65 inches, but as with the OLED+984 from 2 years ago, you can see here that there is a separate speaker enclosure beneath the panel, and there is a tweeter on top design, which is again separate from the speaker enclosure, even though this gives an illusion of it just being one big speaker. There's actually 3 separate loudspeaker enclosures inside this cabinet, and they have continuum cones, which is very transparent. It has very low noise floor, and it uses the same material that is found in BMW's flagship Diamond 800 series. And I think I had a brief listen during a sound demo at this event, and certainly the transparency and the resolution and also the scale just blew me away. It is certainly one of the best, if not the best, sound system I've heard from a television itself. And I'm not sure whether I'll be getting the chance to actually review it, because it's quite a big, chunky unit. But still, I think, if you are an audiophile, this is pitched as an audiophile product. This is pitched as a statement product, and, it can go loud and it can produce audiophile quality sound. The tweeter-on-top driver on the 986 has a new surround and also metal Nautilus material to help with heat dissipation because of the increased output from the better amplifiers. If you'd like to watch more videos on Philips 2021 televisions, please click here for our playlist, and I will see you in the next video.